I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. Baby steps towards the beginning of the podcast.
Baby steps towards the new
to
recording.
The intro. Baby steps to getting the new office set up.
Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view,
vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Vow to View, your daily Planet podcast, all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together,
we're the Dailies. Man, you started off real hot there.
What?
Loud. You were very loud at the beginning.
It's all in the diaphragm.
I know. You just you summon everything up in order to do the intro. I don't know.
You summoned it up to make your voice deeper?
I don't know. I don't know what I was doing there. Elyse.
It's all about how you breathe.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How's it going with you?
It's good. It's a Sunday.
It is Sunday.
We've never done this thing on a Sunday before. Because we're 2 days late for reasons that we will get into momentarily.
Oh, I bet you that's your thorn.
Yeah.
I'm so good at predicting you. You're so predictable.
But it's Father's Day.
Yes.
Today is Father's Day. This is the Father's Day episode. So maybe it's fitting that we both record and release this on the day that we are honoring this week, because we're here on this episode of the podcast to talk about our daddies and their favorite movies.
And Maggie and Ghost say Happy Father's Day to you. I did almost get you a card to give it to you, but then I was like, no, he's going to be upset if I do that. He'll be like, no, I'm not. It's not really Father's Day. It's just not really. These aren't really kids. I'm not really dad to no.
I wouldn't be upset.
So I would
say, yes, you are wrong. It is not. I am not a father. They're animals, and I did not create them.
It's fine. I know that would be weird.
Yeah.
A human birthed a dog.
Yeah, weird as in
painful.
This podcast is taking a turn.
Interesting.
I forgot to do the thing where I tell what the podcast is in case someone's listening for the first time. Hello,
yeah, tell them what it is.
Hello, new listeners. This is the podcast where each and every week, my wife Elyse and I pick movies for each other to watch that hopefully we've never seen before. Not always the case, but hopefully we've never seen before. The whole idea is movies are important to people, and the movies you love kind of tell something about you, and we can learn about each other and strengthen our marriage and our love and our jokes.
Basically,
through watching
Scott
each other's movies.
has a lot of movies that he watched, and he realized I hadn't seen a lot of them. So we just figured a way to make each other watch the movies that neither of us had seen from each other's childhood and upbringing and all of the sorts.
Well, I think every couple in this world has a list of things that they want their significant other to see.
Some might be music, some might be books, some might be movies.
Yeah.
Some might be places to go see.
Yeah, we need to have a book conversation, because you not reading any Stephen King is just unacceptable.
No, it's perfectly
It's unacceptable.
acceptable.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get on with our first segment.
Okay.
The segment so wonderfully called
Bachelorette.
What was that again?
Bachelorette. I don't know if it sounds like you're throwing up or you're like trying to play a weird air guitar right now while you're doing that. It's very strange.
What kind of weird ass air guitars are you playing?
I don't know, but you had your arms like that and you were like trying to get all, like when people get really into the guitar and then they like get so close to their hands because they want it to be
This counts as your 5 minutes for the Bachelorette.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway, this is the segment where each week on the show I give Elyse 5 minutes to talk about The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, because I'm such a nice person. Elyse, take it away.
Okay, so this week there are a couple of interesting things that happened on the show, and then there was a very interesting thing that happened technically off of the show, which we're going to talk about. But this past week's episode, people got injured. 2 people got injured, and it's like, which is more dangerous, NFL or The Bachelorette? I don't know, but he definitely got hurt during the football date. So they had 2 group dates and then a one-on-one date, and one of the group dates was going to play football, and she actually has a couple ex-NFL players. And so it was interesting, you know, or I guess not interesting. Obviously, they would have picked the one that had NFL career experience. And so he got to go on the date. And he was like trying to play it cool at first. And then he realized his team was down. And of course, you're a guy. And it's like that was what you use as your career. And so, well, anybody. I mean, I would have gotten competitive that too.
No, he's the one that got hurt?
Yes, the NFL
player.
Yes, that's why he left the show, is because it was for his career. He needed the surgery, and it was having to choose between being on the show and not getting the surgery at the moment, or getting off the show and going to get the surgery so he could actually have his career continue after.
So full disclosure, listeners, I watched only half of this week's episode with Elyse because I had work to do. So at about the hour mark, I couldn't stand it anymore and left the room. And you were sending me text updates.
Yeah.
I did not know that it was the professional football player that got injured playing.
Hurt his wrist and has to get wrist surgery.
Football.
I mean, they were kind of tackling, you know, it was a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, so that was that. And it was really sad because, she liked him. She gave him a rose on the date. So she was interested in him. And he seemed actually pretty nice compared to some of the other ones that are on the show. He seemed like a decent guy. And, you know, he left because he's the one providing for his family. And, you know, if he's not, you know, making money because he's ruined his career by playing a dumb football game on The Bachelorette, then that's an issue.
That's so ridiculous. I cannot believe that.
Yeah. So that was really sad. And that was where they kind of left it as a cliffhanger at the end of the show, because she was so sad that he's leaving. And then they just go back to now they don't have to have the rose ceremony at the end of the show. Now they can have it at the beginning of the show, which is completely dumb. And I hate whenever they did the restructure like that. The other group date that I wanted to touch on really quick was the one with Colton and Tia, which was the spa date. And
this is the one you talked about last week, is like, this is going to be the big dramatic event. Oh,
yeah. That's what they had advertised it as. Well, that and then the other injury on the show, but that was just completely ridiculous too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
The spa date, I liked Becca and Kendall, Becca, Pixie, and Kendall so much more. And then they're back on the show for this, and it's just like I miss them so much because Kendall is so well spoken and just seems very level-headed, and she's quirky. She's the one that was into taxidermy and all this other stuff. She's like she's fun, she's weird, she's just very eloquent and very like grounded. And so it just kind of, as much as I know that it was supposed to be like fun for her, it made me sad that it was Becca, this girl that's the Bachelorette, instead of these other two people. And then they bring up the whole Tia Colton situation. And it was just, you know, had it been anybody else except for Colton and who had the background with Tia, he would have gone home last week. But she liked him because he is an ex-football player and he's tall, he's cute. He, you know, like is her quote unquote like type, I guess. And it was just, if it was anybody else, it wouldn't have mattered. And it was just frustrating. And I didn't like
We're running out of time here.
So the other thing that they really advertised big was that this guy got bloodied really bad and from the mansion and got taken away in an ambulance. And then lo and behold, all that had happened was he fell off of the top bunk of his bunk bed.
And see, this is
face first.
This is
and it's hilarious.
This is why I think the show is gross, because this is the kind of stuff they do. For the last 2 weeks, they've done this, oh my God, there's blood everywhere. And then they would cut to a scene of Becca saying, how could he do that? And basically the guy who got injured was a guy that was feuding with someone else in the house. So they're constructing this narrative like they fought and he stabbed him or beat him up or did something to him. And of course it's nothing. It's nothing like that. It's nothing at all. This like blatant, like, editing manipulation. And I mean, it was the same thing with the conflict with that Colton guy that they built up to be this big, huge, dramatic thing. And really what it is her sitting him down and saying, do you still have feelings for that other girl? And he goes, no. And
because I want to be on TV now.
And she's like,
and make money for my nonprofit.
And she's like, okay, I feel much better now. And I'm just like, if he did, was he going to tell you he's on a show. Like, it's just like, it's such bullshit. It's not like, they call this reality television. It is the furthest thing from reality.
And I know that you think that that's disgusting, but what I really wanted to talk about too was what I think is even more disgusting than actually what has been on the show is the fact that they let someone who had sexually assaulted someone.
Yeah, this is the guy we were talking about last week that freaked out about the picture, right?
So it came about this week because he was charged. So it happened in 2016, and then
he got his sentencing this week.
In May, he got sentenced in May, and so one of the contestants, actually the one who had his picture thrown last week, who was drinking during the cocktail hour, and I mentioned that just because of something that happened in his sentencing. He was on a cruise ship and assaulted a girl, and during his background check, the company that they have hired, that's a third party, they claim to have not known about that. But I mean, like, now, since this, he is going to have to register as a sex offender everywhere he goes. So one of the contestants is now a registered sex offender. And I just think, like, I understand that, you know, in real life situations, you know, who's to say he doesn't meet someone, and then that's a conversation that he has to have with them, and, you know, hopefully he's had some sort of change and growth through that. And so, like, people, yes, they deserve second chances, and so I'm not saying that he should not ever be given a second chance to have a healthy relationship with someone, but I am saying that as a show, it is your responsibility to make sure that people who are put into situations like last season's Bachelor in Paradise, where you're giving them like complete free reign of alcohol, which, you know, like alters people's personalities, that you need to do a better job about who you put as a contestant. And I get that it is a reality show and you're wanting to have people who cause drama and things, but you need to have a line at some point where you realize that I'm not playing a game and these are actually people's lives, and I need to be respectful of the fact that if you're entrusting me with potentially finding you someone who you're going to spend your life with, or at least a few years, and I've already put you through hell with the whole Ari situation, I should not put someone who has treated women like this back into your mix. And I think that that is disgusting that they did that.
I mean, this is, I think this should, like, I understand you enjoy watching the show, and I don't want to rag on anyone who likes this, but I do think that NBC, it's NBC, right? ABC and the producers of the show are not very good people. And I think every season we're seeing something like this. Like last year, they made the big thing about how there was the first Black Bachelorette. This was a big, huge deal because it's something that the show, I don't think they ever said this publicly, but the idea was that people wouldn't watch the show as much, which is bullshit, and awful and stupid. But anyway, they finally did it after 16, 17 seasons, whatever they've done. And then they let a guy on the show who has expressed racist sentiments in public online forums prior to auditioning for the show. So, and they said the same thing back then as, oh, we didn't see that, we didn't notice. It's like bullshit. Like the first thing you don't do is look up someone's social media stuff. They're on television. You're giving them a platform, and they did it because it would make great TV. They said, oh, look, we're the first Black Bachelorette. There's going to be probably more Black contestants than there are normally. This is going to be a great little slice of drama. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting that they host a platform for stuff like that they seemingly don't care. And then, the Bachelor in Paradise thing happened last time, which, I mean, again, I don't know the whole story there, but it's a complicated mess involving alcohol. And then once again, whoever they're hiring to, if they are truly telling the truth and our background screenings did not catch these things, then they need a new company to do that.
Yeah.
I don't like criminal record. Like you do a crime. If he did it in 2016,
regardless
that's
of
the first
whether
item
the
that
case
pops
had
up on
and the decision or not, he's under
It's in court, yeah.
It's investigation.
Yeah,
and
if
so
there's
there's
an
like no
open-
reason that should have not come up.
Okay, that was the Bachelorette 10 minutes.
Well, I did the reason that I brought up the alcohol thing is because part of his sentencing too requires him to go to 3 AA meetings a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like not probably very good for him to have just been on the show where from sun up to sundown contestants have said they encourage you to drink. They bring you drinks. And so it's just like...
They encourage you to drink on House Hunters. Of course, they encourage you to drink on Bachelorette.
It's not healthy.
No.
Anyways, but tomorrow, another episode of The Bachelorette. We're excited to watch it.
We're still doing that? You're still going to watch it?
We are thrilled, yes.
Okay, let's move on because we went like way over time on that one. Let you do it.
Well, what did you have go good for you this week, Scott?
So it's time for the Rose and the Thorn.
Oh yeah, I'll let you sing your song the first.
I'm not gonna sing a song.
Every rose has its thorn.
I feel like that's the wrong tempo.
What tempo did you want it at?
I'm not gonna do it. We're gonna pre-record it. We're working on a jingle.
Okay.
So yeah, it's Rose and Thorn. We're just gonna talk about
jingle.
Stop it. We're going to talk about the things that happened good for us this week and maybe some of the badness too. Maybe sometimes looking at the worst thing that happened to you this week helps
makes all the other things seem better.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what was good? What was good for you?
Well, you probably can't tell, and by you I mean the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Elyse and I are right now facing each other. We're sitting at a table looking at each other.
I know.
And this is a little bit different. When I built...
Yeah, we don't normally look at each other.
No, we do. We're just like all the way across the room. You're on a couch. I've swiveled my chair around from my desk. Basically...
Yeah, but normally I just don't like to look at you.
I understand.
So I try and
completely.
Keep a door in between.
Yeah.
Sunshades on. Blackout.
When I first built the
That's
office...
why I sleep so much.
When I first built the office that I'm calling my recording studio, I built it for one person on Skype with someone else because that's what I was doing at the time. It was me and Matt talking on Skype, recording podcasts, sometimes guests there, but basically I was in a room recording by myself. Then you and I started the show.
Now there's me.
Yeah, and I'd like to have some other local people on occasion. So we really got to the point where the way we were recording with the two of us in the same room and future people was really awkward. I couldn't face a desk. I had to use my phone for my show notes because I was having to look the opposite place the desk was. You were sitting on a couch.
Which I wasn't complaining about.
Well, it was, you didn't get to see the screens either. Like it was awkward.
It was a leather couch. It made me move around and cause noise. Scott got really upset.
So we were driving home from working out last weekend and we passed by the IKEA and we were like, let's go look for a desk. So we did that, and basically it started this whole snowball of rearranging the office entirely. So we bought the desk. It's not going to be here for a couple weeks, but we went ahead and rearranged the format of things to mirror what it's going to look like once it's done.
Yeah.
And now you and I are sitting at a table facing each other.
Yeah. I'm looking at all the beautiful movies behind you.
I know. And now when I live stream, my background is not like a mirror, which is weird.
Yeah.
My background is my movie shelf, which I really like. That when I first put it up, that's kind of what I envisioned. So now more people can come. We can have possibly even 4 people in here if we move around monitors a bit to record. So it's just I'm really excited about it. The desk, I wish I had the desk today, but oh well.
It's okay.
But I'm excited. We're making progress. We're changing things up and trying to become more professional. This also lets me like control your levels a little bit because I have my mixer right here next to me. So when you start talking too loud, like I can see right here at 17 minutes, you blew up the mic a little bit.
What was I doing?
I don't know. You just got excited. I don't know.
Oh, sometimes I get excited.
I understand.
Not normally.
So that's my Rose. 2 weeks and we'll have that desk out. I guess that's the other thing is the desk I have been using is a kitchen table. It's your
my old kitchen table from my apartment.
It's pretty squat. I have 2 monitors, a mixer, mouse, keyboard, microphone, external device on here. There's no room on this desk.
No.
So,
and it's not very stable either.
No, it's old. The new one I got is like 15 inches wider. It's got a little side runner thing that I'm going to put
a return.
Whatever.
Desk return.
Whatever. Shut up.
It's okay.
Yeah. So it's just I'm pretty excited.
I think it'll
look
very
times.
nice.
It's good times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
great.
how about you? What was your Rose?
Oh, I've just been trying to do things for me this summer. So this week, I don't know if I had ever told you, I went to go get a chair massage.
You told me.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was nice. I think I might make it like a weekly thing.
Okay.
I wanted to do the like Avita Institute in Dallas evidently does discounted services because the people are training. And I was just going to sign up and get a massage from there for an hour because it was $30, a full body massage, $35. But you couldn't book that appointment online. And I just kept forgetting to call. And Wednesday was the day that I wanted to do it. So I was like, well, bummer. I, said that I wanted to go do this and then I didn't make the appointment and my back is kind of sore. So what can I do? And then I remembered I could go to the grocery store that's close by and they've got people that do chair massages.
Perfect.
So why not? And it was nice. It was very relaxing.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was something good that happened.
I like it.
Thank you. What? Oh, see, I know it was bad and it's part of the reason that we've delayed this.
Yeah.
And I know that it's going to be a long way for you to explain this.
No,
so,
I'm
Scott, what was your thorn?
I'm not going to take that long to explain it. So
Okay.
we moved around all my equipment and stuff to get in the new position we were talking about for the new desk and all that. And for some reason, during the transition from one side of the room to the other side of the room, a weird hum made its way into my recording equipment. And you're probably not hearing it right now. Well, you are hearing it right now because Elyse is making it. But you're probably not hearing it right now because when we record and then do post work on it, I can remove it. But if I was streaming this right now, you would be able to hear electric noise. I'm pretty sure it's called a grounding loop, and it has to do with the electricity and the differentials in grounding frequencies and all this complicated electricity stuff I don't fully understand. But I didn't figure that out until I tried like 6 different things. I thought it was the sound card on my motherboard on my computer. I bought a new sound card. Nope. I bought some new wires thinking something was wrong in the wires, like the shielding in the wires was broken. Nope. I now have ordered a device that like fixes if you plug the cord that's making the grounding issue into this device, it will hopefully get rid of that hum. I don't know if it's going to work. It was like $6, thankfully. So it's not like this is costing me a lot, except for a lot of time and frustration. And I don't know what happened, why this happened, but at least this podcast will sound good. But that's what I spent basically most of my weekend working on, was trying to figure out what was going on with this thing.
You know what we can do though? Is now that we have actually stated what the problem was and what made you frustrated, we do have other people that listen and they might have some experience knowing what could be the cause of it. So now that he's kind of explained the problem and told you what some of the things are that he's tried, if you think that you know about another solution or what the problem could be other than what we are anticipating, let us know. And then maybe you will solve some of the audio issues.
That would be great.
And that would be fantastic. We would thank you. And then you could be the Rose next week.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
Well, the weird thing is,
great
like,
if they help us out.
a grounding loop is supposed to be caused by your receiver and your source being on different power outlets, because each power outlet has a slightly different ground frequency that they do. And when those differentiate, it makes feedback and noise in the wire. Everything in my system is on it's plugged into one outlet. It's on a surge protector plugged into one outlet. So from everything I've read, that shouldn't create a grounding loop. So, but the sound it makes, what it does, like when I move my mouse around and when the computer really spins up, all matches what I've read about a grounding loop. So if this thing doesn't get it, it's something on my motherboard. It's some electricity problem in the electricity in the motherboard, and that's when it starts to get expensive. So hopefully it's not that, and we'll solve the problem and everything will be great.
So.
But yeah, so it's ironic that my rose and thorn were both related to the same thing. But again,
Sometimes
this
that's
is
how it happens.
like if this is the biggest problem I have in my life right now, I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good if that was it.
All right, Elyse.
Yeah.
What's your biggest problem in your life right now besides me?
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. Last week, I don't know if I had actually told you, but on that last Saturday when I had gone to that fitness class with the group that I'm doing the Whole 30 with, I had chosen a heavier pound of weight to do one exercise than I usually do. And it had made my left shoulder hurt for almost an entire week. Like now it is just better to where I can move it and I don't feel the pain. Man. And so I was taking it really easy on myself and I was trying not to make a big deal out of it. But I mean, it was actually pretty painful. And so now I know I'm not going to be able to do that amount of weight anymore.
Summer Elyse's biggest problem is I hurt myself working out.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. So now I'll move back to, because I had gone too heavy, I went to the lighter set of weights so that I could at least do the exercises with a little bit of weight. And now I'm going to go back to my normal one, I think starting Monday. I'm going to give myself one more day after today's class to take it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to go back to my normal routine.
That's good. I will point out that you still did 2 classes in one day, even though you were on a recovery period. You still had to do your double doozy.
I did my double doozy yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I did it with less than what I normally do. I'm trying to, even if I'm doing that and I'm pushing myself, I'm still trying to be aware of the fact that I don't want to push myself too hard and hurt myself.
No, you're doing great, babe.
Because I was already hurt myself.
You know what they say?
What?
Every rose is pretty.
No, see, I don't really like roses.
I know. It's
like
hard
peonies.
To get flowers for you.
Peonies and tulips, orchids.
The expensive flowers are the ones that die very quickly.
Yeah. They're just so pretty, though.
All right. So that is Rose and Thorn. 28 minutes into this podcast. I guess it's time to start talking about movies.
That's a good idea, Scott.
Yeah. So as we mentioned at the top, we are celebrating Father's Day this week, which means we picked some of our dad's favorite movies. So Elyse, what is your dad's favorite movie?
So my dad's favorite movie is What About Bob? And
what is Bob?
So What About Bob is a movie about a successful psychotherapist who's Richard Dreyfuss. He loses his mind after one of his most dependent patients, Bill Murray, is Bob Murray? Oh, no. Okay. I was like, his name's Bill. What are you saying? Bob? Okay. His character is Bob, played by Bill Murray, is an obsessive compulsive neurotic, and he tracks him down during his family vacation and just completely destroys it. And this movie is funny. Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray are just perfect for each of these roles. Bill Murray is one of the most brilliant comedians on TV. I really like him. But the entire movie, I have seen this movie so many times and with my dad that I was listening to the movie, but my dad's voice was in there quoting the entire thing at the exact same time. And it was the strangest thing because I'm watching it. I was kind of doing some stuff in the kitchen at the same time, but then I'm hearing all of these lines that he always says and would always quote. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my dad is doing this. I can't believe I'm watching this without my dad because he watches it so much. And so, he loves it. We bought him a couple years ago one of the shirts that Bob's character had that's "Don't hassle me, I'm a local," and he loved it. It's just everybody knows that's his movie. That's what he loves. He ever so often will pick up on one of those little mannerisms of Bob from the movie and then do it. I had told you the whole dinner scene where Bob is
So any of the parts where Bob's being particularly annoying, your dad just channeled that.
It was, he did it in a fun way, and it was usually during our own family vacation sorts of things, or we'd watch it, on a holiday that he had off, whether it was the 4th of July or Memorial Day or something like that. It was either Seinfeld. I would wake up and Seinfeld would be on, or What About Bob would be on. It was one of those two things, and so it was fun, but. When I had talked to him about it originally, we were at the water park because my parents were like, let's get a season pass to the water park. And so I went and hung out with him one day and I was talking to him about it. And he actually had shared with you too in a conversation that he loves this movie so much that my dad, he started running as part of his like midlife. Like,
he just wants to exercise. Why are you
Well,
making a big deal out of it?
No, but it was like this person at work like started talking to him about it, and then he like got really into it, and now he's in a lot of races. He's traveled.
Oh, he's
all
just
over
he
to
does
do
like
things.
3-4 marathons
Yeah.
a year, and
He's a
he does
marathon maniac.
Yeah, he
but-
did. I think he did the 2 back to back.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we came out for the second one and just like ran some of it
like
with him. We're
2
like,
laps with him or something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
that's quite enough for us.
But he said that there's one movie that he has downloaded to his phone.
Yeah.
The only movie he purchased and downloaded, and that is What About Bob? And so when he gets tired of all of the music that's on his phone that he listens to while running, he just runs to What About Bob?
Yeah, and of course he's not watching the movie. He's just listening to the movie as he runs. Yeah. That's love of a movie.
That is love of a movie. Yeah.
This is actually Tom Schulman wrote this movie, and this is the second Tom Schulman written film we've done on Vow of You,
it
because he
is.
also did Dead Poet Society, and he did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is that too young of a movie for you?
No, I saw Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay. I
That
loved that
ant?
movie.
Man, that ant
Auntie?
freaked me out at first.
Auntie?
Yeah.
I wanted to live in Lego and eat a giant moon pie.
Of course you did.
And this movie, What About Bob, was directed by Frank Oz, who you might know from a little film, little unknown, not very popular, very divisive film called Star Wars.
And I don't
He's
think
Yoda.
I've actually heard of that
It's
one.
Yoda.
Oh.
Which
When did that come out?
like way back in like the 70s or some
No,
nonsense.
nothing good happened in the 70s.
Although Yoda wasn't in it till the second one, which I think was 80, so technically. Yoda being... Remember the first time we had a conversation, you showed me a picture of your dog? It was your dog in a
Maggie
Yoda
dressed
costume.
up as Yoda.
Yeah. So whenever I think of Yoda, weirdly enough, that's what I think of.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I had obviously seen this movie before. I've seen this movie many times, though probably not as much as your dad. It's a great movie. It's like Bill Murray. This is Bill Murray at the top of his game, doing his comedy thing. The thing that I love about Bill Murray's comedy is it's both like endearing and annoying at the same time. And that's kind of the frustrating push and pull of this movie is like, on the one hand, you're on Bob's side because like he's just being a nice guy and like he's actually helping out the family. Like he actually helps Leo's son Siggy learn how to dive. Like he's connecting to the family in a way that their father can't. But on the other hand, he won't go away. He won't go away. I mean, like, him being out there is entirely inappropriate. Like, him hanging out is so inappropriate. So, on the other hand, you're on Leo Marvin's side the whole time. And it's like, it's everyone else can't see it to, like, a hilarious degree. Like, no one else is noticing anything's wrong with this guy to the craziest degree. And, I mean... it's just so enjoyable. Like every bit of it, like the neighbors that hate him for buying that house that like laugh at him at every moment. How ridiculous it gets. I forgot that he blew up his house. Like I remember the explosion therapy thing, but I forgot that it actually like went off and his house exploded. It's so very well done. And I mean, I don't know how many other movies Frank Oz has directed. I don't think he's directed very much else, but I mean, it's functional. Like it's directing wise, this is more of a stick Bill Murray in a movie and let him do his thing kind of thing.
And I just like Bill Murray is hilarious, but Richard Dreyfuss, his facial expressions, like in that scene whenever it's the Good Morning America interview, and Bill Murray's character just like he goes off and on and about this book and about he just changed and it's just this baby steps, and you just see Richard Dreyfuss's face. It just like starts to like go from shock of my eyes are really big, I'm upset, to then it just transforms into such anger. Right. And it's just like you don't always notice that because you always listen to what Bob is saying in that part of the interview. And this time I really did. I kind of paid attention to more of just like that subtlety that he had. And it was hilarious.
And I think that's the secret weapon of this movie.
Yeah.
Is I mean, Bill Murray's great. Everyone knows Bill Murray's great. But yeah, Richard Dreyfuss is killing it here.
Yeah.
And it's because he's both having to play the straight man and he goes insane by the end of the movie. So like he has to capture both sides of those characters and he has to make that transition believable. And I think even when he is the calm, collected psychiatrist in his office at the beginning of the movie, you can see that like craziness like behind his eyes, right? Like you can see that he's this very high strung, stressed out person that is just right on the edge of that precipice and just takes Bob just coming up to just push.
He tipped him over.
Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss he's so great. He's so great in this movie.
I love it.
This is the second movie we've done, speaking of seconds, that had Charlie Korsmo in it, who played Sigmund, his son, who was also
In Hook.
Jack in Hook. So, man, look at that.
And he has the same line in both movies.
Which is...
Dad's back! He says it the same in almost both of them,
That's
too.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went on to not do a lot.
No.
He did these two movies. He was in a movie that I guess you've never heard of called Can't Hardly Wait. It's a
hadn't
teen
heard of
movie
it.
that came out in the late 90s. It has Seth Green in it. It has Jennifer Love
I was not
Hewitt
a
in it.
teen in the late 90s.
Oh, I'm
That
sorry.
might have been it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you old man.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. He plays a nerd that's infiltrating the party, and he ends up getting drunk. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, what about Bob? It's good.
Yeah, what about
What
Bob?
about Bob? What about Bob? What about Bob?
Baby steps through the movie.
And that's like, I mean, that's one thing that I've taken from this movie throughout my entire life. I say baby steps all the time, and it's not because of the original meaning. It's because of the
This
use of
movie?
it in this book.
Yeah.
Baby steps
On
onto the elevator. Baby steps out of the elevator. Baby steps out the front door.
Ah!
And I think
Sorry, I just
you just blew up the mic again. And the crazy part about this is Bill Murray gets cured. Bob is cured by the end of this movie. Like, for all Leo's insanity and like pushing and hatred of Bob, he fixes him.
Yeah.
In a way. And I mean, there's no actual psychiatry or psychology going on here. Like, the movie doesn't care about any of that, but
It was hilarious.
I do think it's cool
that
that they've switched by the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget what the prescriptions were when the doctor came out. He's like, I'm going to prescribe this. I'm sorry, doctor, but don't you think that
Yeah.
blank would be better given these symptoms? Ah, yes. I'll take your recommendation.
There was one thing, there's one little beat in the movie that I noticed watching this time that I've never noticed before. At the very beginning of the movie, when we're seeing Bob and his morning routine, you know, there's no background noise. It is only noise of his apartment. There's no, like, you know, you're in a city, they put city noise. There's none of that. The city noise does not start until Bob opens the door to his bedroom. And then the city noise comes rushing in, the traffic, the construction, all those things come rushing in all at once. I think that's a really nice little directorial beat there to show how insulated and safe he felt inside, that he was literally cut off from the rest of the world. And then the second he leaves his house, the world comes rushing back. And I had never noticed that watching this movie before. And it's like little beats like that I think are clever ways to use sound in direction that I liked a lot. This is a good movie. Like, I love it. Like, I think people write this off as like, it's a fun, minor movie, but it's well made. It's a good movie. It's funny.
It is funny.
One of my favorite Bill Murray movies, not my favorite Bill Murray movie.
It will be one that we watch on the very sad, sad day of his passing.
Oh my God. I don't want to think about that.
I know.
We're going to have to watch both Ghostbusters.
I was really,
Caddyshack.
they say how things happen in threes.
Stripes.
And with the whole Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, I was like, sure do hope the next one's not Bill Murray, because
why would you go directly to him?
I don't know, because I had just watched this movie and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be awful.
Well, 2 people died. I guess it's Bill Murray's turn.
It was just, they kept on getting more and more important.
That's mean to Kate Spade.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I know what you mean. I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah. So that is what about Bob? The thing, there's no surprise to me to learn that this is your dad's favorite movie. Like, this is the type of personality your dad has, the type of person he is, like, matches with this movie perfectly with me.
The tone of the movie.
Yeah. Your dad's a fun person who likes joking around and being silly, and this is his type of humor. From everything I've known about him in the three years I've known him, that was not a surprise to me at all. How does the rest of your family feel about this movie? You like it a lot. Is anyone in your family sick of this movie?
I think we were all sick of it at a point, and then we just like we watched it. You know how when you're like sick of something and you watch it so much that then you watch it one more time and you're like, I'm doing this because I love my dad and it's something that's important to him. And then it transitions from I'm sick of it to I'm watching this out of importance and love for someone else, and then you like actually learn to appreciate it and love it for something different than why you had gotten annoyed with it at first.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the point that all of us are at with it, where it's like, we know this is dad's thing. We love our dad. And so no matter what, we will always watch this with him and for him because we love him. And so now we love this more, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is.
Cool.
Yeah. So what about your dad? A little different.
A little bit different. But we will cover that right after this.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot about the break.
I forgot about the break.
So unprofessional.
But don't be mad.
Bob, your behavior is completely inappropriate.
You're angry.
No, I don't get angry.
Well, you're upset.
I don't get upset.
Well, then let's have a little talk.
Bob, I do not see patients on vacation, ever. How many ways can I make that clear? Now, what I'd like you to do is to get on this bus and go back to New York.
I can't. I'm totally paralyzed. I'm all locked up.
You got yourself here.
Barely.
Well, getting back will be therapeutic.
But can't we just have a little talk?
Bob, you are testing my patience.
Come on, I've come so far.
Bob,
I'm baby stepping.
Bob.
I'm doing the work. I'm baby stepping. I'm not a slacker.
Listen to me.
Check it out. Look at I'm in really bad shape. Come on, please,
Bob,
please.
Bob.
Give me. I need.
Bob,
Listen, give me.
Okay,
Please.
all right.
Please.
And we're back. Did I blow it up again?
I mean, you talked really loudly there.
Well, I released my breath. I'm sorry. We're back, guys.
We are back, and we are here to talk about my daddy.
Your dad and
Mr.
the movie
Jim.
that he liked, which is...
My dad's favorite movie of all time is 1986's Aliens, the sequel to Ridley Scott's Alien movie, directed and written by Mr. James Cameron.
He hasn't really done anything else, has he?
No, nothing really that big.
Yeah, I didn't think.
I think he's got some Dances with Wolves movie coming out in a few years or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess this was
He's
decent
making
enough that
three.
he should...
He's making 3 Avatar sequels. He's going to be making Avatar till he dies. Anyway, of course, yeah, Aliens is the sequel to the Ridley Scott film starring Sigourney Weaver. In it, Ellen Ripley is rescued by a deep salvage team after being in hypersleep for 57 years.
What?
The moon that the Nostromo visited has been colonized, but contact is lost. This time, colonial marines have impressive firepower, but will that be enough? It's a very interesting summary there, IMDb, but it captures the movie pretty well. So yeah, this is a group of Marines heads to LV-426 to investigate and finds an alien infestation and
Bum, bum, bum.
blows it up. Blows it up.
Blows it up.
This is my dad's favorite movie by far. Like we talked about last week, my dad mentioned some other 2 movies.
He doesn't really like those movies.
I mean, I'm sure he does, but he doesn't talk about them as much. Like your dad did with the quoting of What About Bob, my dad did with the quoting of both of these movies. My dad likes Alien a lot too, the first one, but this is more his speed. He likes action more than horror. There's so many. My dad will just turn to me when we would be heading home from a night out or something, and he'll just say, "We better get in soon, because it'll be night." And they mostly come at night. Mostly. And he'll say, "Marines, we are leaving," which is a quote from this movie. He'll say, when he would pick us up and like from school or something, or from soccer practice or something, he would say, "I'm sorry, I had to circle around. That platform was just too unstable." It was just like random ass quotes from this movie. It was a bad call. It was a bad call, Ripley. like my dad quotes this movie to no end. He quotes the first movie a lot too, but there are much less quotable things in the first movie.
And I was very curious as to why he liked the sequel more than he liked the original, because I feel like most people don't like sequels, especially when there's a trilogy, an original trilogy, because wasn't it like these first
Alien,
and then,
Alien
like,
is
second,
a weird story.
Are you talking about Alien, the first movie?
The franchise. They
don't follow the normal.
It's not
second
like
movie is just full of nothing.
No.
It was only used to get you to the third movie.
No,
and
this
the
was
third
never
movie's
planned on
good.
being a trilogy. No.
Okay.
No. My dad likes, like I said, my dad's not a big into horror. The first movie is firmly a horror film, so he likes the Marines. My dad likes space combat science fiction stuff. That's what my dad likes. And this movie,
Spaceship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
So this story is right up my dad's alley. One of the things my dad loves about this movie the most, and he will talk to you about it if you ever ask, the characterization job that goes on in this movie, the time that they spend before they get to the planet and before they actually start fighting the aliens. Like, we learn who all of these Marines are. Hicks, Hudson, Vasquez, Bishop, like all these characters, we know them pretty well by the time shit starts hitting the fan. And for an action movie to put in that much characterization is pretty remarkable. And that's part of what my dad loves so much. Like, my dad loves Hudson, played by Bill Paxton. My dad will always say, every time we watch this movie, my dad will be like, but look, scared Hudson, he goes down fighting. And he does. Like, at the end, Hudson dies in this movie.
Exactly what you said too.
Yeah, because like I've heard that throughout my entire life. And like, even Gorman, this lieutenant who had only done one combat drop, which was the stiff guy brought into this group of hardneck grunts, goes down, sacrificing himself to save the other people. And so they're not like huge important parts of the story, but these people have arcs and you get to know them and like them. And I love Hicks's relationship with Sigourney Weaver's Ripley. A lot of people don't like Newt, the little girl.
I liked her.
I liked Newt a lot. My dad likes Newt a lot. And Newton and Ripley's characters are pretty key to the movie, which is actually something I wanted to talk to you about a bit.
Oh, yes?
In a bit. But
Okay.
first, I just want to get your general impression, because this is one of those cases where you had never seen this movie
I
before.
hadn't.
So what'd you think of Aliens?
I really liked it.
Okay.
I don't know what else really want to say. I mean, it was an action movie. It was a good action movie. I liked Sigourney Weaver. I like strong female characters. She's a strong
She's the
female character. I didn't mind Little Girl. I felt like there were a lot of the same things, from the first movie to the second movie, but they like ended differently, because since I had never seen it before, I forget what are those people called that are the robots?
The androids.
The androids, and I kind of appreciated how he was bad in the first one. And so like I had anticipated him maybe being bad again in the second one, and he wasn't. And I think that was good, like that it could have changed and shifted. And of course it was a human that was bad.
Yeah.
It was very selfish. But
The damn company. Paul
Yeah.
Reiser being the perfect company man.
yeah. So I don't know, but it was good. I liked it. I'd watch it again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched the extended edition version of this movie, which I think it adds another 20 or 30 minutes. And there's some things that this version did that I like and some things that it didn't. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I feel like Aliens is a movie that's been talked to death just because it's a very popular, like one highly regarded movie. So people have analyzed it and talked about it a lot. But the extended edition adds the scenes at the colony on the moon prior to the Marines getting there. So we see people on the colony. We see it's Newt's family that finds the ship and gets the eggs originally. That's her mom and dad that we see. And I think that kind of kills the tension a bit when like, I say that knowing, like, you go see this movie, the aliens are going to be in it. So they're going to get to the planet and the aliens are going to be there. But I like that we don't get to see the colony operational and running. The first time we see the colony in the theatrical version of the movie is after it's a ghost town and everyone's dead. And I think that just adds to the tension. It makes the place look more mysterious. Like we've never got to see it as this functioning place. We're only got to see it after all the stuff happened. So I don't like that they added those parts. However, there are parts I very much do like. There is a part at the very beginning of the movie where Ripley learns about her daughter who has passed away in the 57 years that she's been gone. And I think that really helps define one of the things that this movie is about, which is about Ripley and motherhood, and her finding Newt and deciding that she's not going to give up on Newt. The reason she goes back at the end, the reason she goes alone back into the Queen's Nest to get Newt out of there is because she lost one daughter and she's not going to do it again. She's not going to let this happen again. And I think without that scene where you learn that her daughter is dead and she's never got to see her again, I think that movement doesn't land as much to me. And I know you haven't seen the other way, but
I also think that, so if you had only seen the theater version, you didn't know that Newt's parents were the ones that were first infected and that she had definitely lost her dad.
Well,
correct?
no, I mean, she says they're dead. Like she makes it very clear that both her parents are dead. Everyone's dead.
I think I might have liked her more and maybe empathized with her a little bit more, knowing that she is the only one that had survived the whole thing.
I mean, she had, though.
Yeah. And her parents were the first ones to actually open the door to everything that had happened. Like, I think that I might have liked the character more because I knew that part. Mm-hmm. And had I not actually seen that, then
that's interesting.
I might have found her more annoying. Because then it would have been like, well, she's just a kid that survived. So other than the fact that this, Sigourney Weaver's kid died, they just put her in there. That way she had a kid. And so I think that by showing what had happened to Newt, it kind of let you see how both of them fulfilled some need that each of them had lost.
This little kid survived out here longer than that with no training and no weapons. Well, great, man. You should put her in charge. I love Hudson. Bill Paxton, rest in peace. Just such a good, boasting, cowardly guy. Yeah.
I didn't realize he was dead.
Yeah.
When did he die?
A couple years ago, I think. Yeah, I think complications from surgery.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so this, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about the movie because it's been talked to death, but my experience with the movie, this is probably the first rated R movie I've ever seen. My mom went out of town, and my dad said, "Don't tell your mom we're watching Aliens." And so I was still in New Jersey. We moved when I was 7. So I had to be 6 years old, 7 at the most, when I watched this movie for the first time. And it freaked me out, but in a good way. This is Aliens, the Aliens franchise, as much as I don't like a lot of the newest movies in it, has been my dad and I's thing throughout our lives. He showed this movie to me at a very young age, and we've gone and seen every movie in the theater since then. We saw we didn't see Aliens 3 together. I remember him going with my mom to see Aliens 3, and I remember, I don't know how I remember this. I remember coming back and saying, "Dad, what happened?" My dad just goes, "They all died." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah. Remember the last movie, how everyone got out and we were all happy for them? Well, they're all dead." My dad did not like Alien 3. And so it's just father-son bonding day is we're going to go watch the new Alien movie. And neither of us liked Prometheus. Neither of us really liked Alien Covenant, but we're still going to go see him. We're going to keep seeing him as long as Ridley Scott seems to be
still making them.
Yeah. We went and saw Alien versus Predator on Christmas Day one time because my mom, for whatever reason, let my dad pick the movie, and he picked Alien versus Predator, which are not good movies. Even my dad would acknowledge that. But it's just what we do. So this movie has a very special place in my heart because it's a connection to the relationship with my dad, and I love it on its own. I like Alien 3 a lot more than my dad does. That's David Fincher's very first film. It has some problematic elements to it. It was a very troubled production, but It had some good parts in it too.
Good. So you're not going to make me watch anything else from the Aliens franchise?
I feel like you have to. I feel like we gotta get you run through the paces.
Not all of them, though. Like, I don't have to watch Aliens 3 because you just told me that they all died, so.
Well, they died at the beginning of Aliens 3.
It's
so
fine. They're all dead. Who really cares? And you told me what happens at the end.
It's about the journey, Elyse. It's about the journey. So that's
not with that one.
That's Aliens. I don't know much else to say about this movie. Were you surprised? I guess I had told you before that this is my dad's movie, but does this seem like, from what you know of my father,
it does,
a Jim Daly movie?
It does. It very much does.
Mm-hmm. He like the camaraderie. My dad's a military guy, right? He was in the Air Force, and he loves this kind of stuff. And seeing,
I think not that he was out, like fighting aliens by any means, but I think that he like very much relates to that sense of like brotherhood, love and family too. And so, it doesn't surprise me. No.
All right. So that is Aliens.
What about Bob?
We already did that.
I know. I just wanted to say it.
I know. So next week, Elyse, which is technically this week because it's Sunday already.
Yes.
But what are we going to do? What are we going to do for next week?
Okay, so let me open up my mind to the people to let them know my thought process behind this. So this week is when Jurassic World comes out. That's the right name for the movie, right? Jurassic World
Fallen Kingdom.
The
sequel to Jurassic World.
Yes. So I was thinking about how that movie was coming out and about how the whole thing with it is really like Chris Pratt's character just loves these dinosaurs so much. It's like man's best friend, just going back, saving that animal that he loved and trained. And I was thinking, that's man's best friend because it's his relationship with the dinosaur, which is just like our relationship with our dogs. So we're doing Man's Best Friend Week, focusing on dog movies. And so the movie that I chose was, I will just go ahead and say, the first movie that I ever cried in. And I'm interested to see why I actually cried with this again.
The cool thing is, like, there's so many movies that could be going through your head right now that all our listeners are like, what God,
animal
there's so
movie
many sad
made her cry
dog
for
movies.
The first time?
Which one could it be? Which of the multitude of sad dog movies could it be?
Fox and the Hound? Nope.
What is it, Elyse?
Air Bud.
Okay.
I don't remember why it got me so bad. I remember the scene. I remember the scene vividly.
Is the first Air Bud basketball?
Yeah.
Because I know they did one for every sport. I've never seen Air Bud.
Oh, you missed out, man.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
I wonder if you'll cry when I did.
I
Probably
don't
not.
think
You're just
so.
going to laugh. I'll be like, this was it. And you're going to just die.
Okay. So you picked Air Bud.
I picked Air Bud.
I picked Homeward Bound, the original.
In all of its brilliance.
I watched that movie so many times, and I can't wait to see it again because it's probably been a good 10, 15 years.
So I have seen it as well, but it has also been a very long time since I have seen it.
Yeah.
So I will be excited to rewatch both of these movies.
Got Shadow and Chance and Sassy the cat.
Oh, I liked Sassy. I thought that was a
I
fun
remember
name
so
for a
little of
cat.
this movie. I remember. Well, we'll talk about it later.
The railroad tracks. The dog falls through.
Oh my God.
I remember that.
Stop. Yeah, so that's next week. To celebrate Jurassic World, we're talking about dog movies. That's Elise's train of thought. That's how you see. You guys are learning how Elise's brain works, which is always fascinating. I think this is better than doing like dinosaur movies because what's your favorite dinosaur movie? It's obviously Jurassic Park.
It's obviously We're Back.
I'm sorry, what?
We're Back.
What?
We're Back. That cartoon movie.
I know what you're talking about, and I'm just shocked.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of another dinosaur movie.
All right. That's all we have time for you guys this week. If you like this podcast, you can check out all the other shows we do over at dailyplanetfilms.com. Also, consider donating to our Patreon account. What's that web address, Elyse?
Daily patreon.com/dailyplanetfilms.
I really threw you for a loop there.
Yeah.
I thought you had it memorized by now.
No, and it is daily with no I.
That's true.
DALY.
I think we had someone in our Discord thread, which is a thing you get once you become a patron of the Daily Planet. You can come talk to us. Someone in our Discord thread just last week realized what the Daily Planet was and what I was doing with the play on words and my last name and the newspaper. So
It's okay. I didn't realize that donut holes were actually the holes from donuts that were cut until I was in college.
wow,
Yeah.
they call it a donut hole.
I know, but I kept thinking like maybe they just had a little tiny hole cookie cutter and they just cut them that size.
They do out of the
I just thought that it was
out of the donut.
I just thought that it was different. I thought that they had like a specific donut hole cutter.
Okay.
And they don't. Maybe some people do that make a lot of donut holes.
Hey, listeners out there, what's something that you should have probably known but didn't figure out till you were an adult? It's a good thing. It's a good question.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually very interested because maybe some of these things I don't actually know.
That'd be funny. All right, guys. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts, if you could go ahead and leave us a rating and a review on there so Elyse can read it in a funny voice, I guess that's a selling
Like a
feature.
dog.
What?
Are you gonna howl it?
All right, guys. That's all we got. Elyse.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. Oh, Jesus. We'll see you guys next week.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.